"She may not be beautiful, but her lineage is flawless," the father insisted, encouraging his son to marry. The young man simply nodded. He too knew he wasn't anyone's idea of handsome, and yet, who could have imagined that these two unlikely individuals would become one of the most steadfast couples in European royal history? Maria Josepha, the last queen of Poland, was to marry Frederick Augustus, son of the Elector of Saxony and King of Poland, Augustus the Strong, a man infamous across the continent, rumored to have fathered up to 365 illegitimate children. His private life was the talk of Europe, his marriage a formality, while his true affections lay with his many mistresses. Maria Josepha came from no less complicated roots. Her own mother was pious, modest, and, as her husband soon discovered, utterly unexciting. Like so many royal unions, love was absent and affairs were common. Ironically, it was this shared infidelity that brought Augustus the Strong and Emperor Joseph I together. And from that unlikely alliance came a plan. Their children would marry. A political match, calculated and cold. Maria Josepha was born in 1699 into the powerful Habsburg dynasty. From a young age, she was raised with the unshakable belief in her family's superiority. She lacked the beauty of her younger sister, but she possessed intelligence, dignity, and a sharp understanding of court life, qualities her grandfather, Emperor Leopold, deeply valued. Originally, only male heirs could inherit the imperial throne, but after the death of Leopold's infant grandson, reportedly due to smoke inhalation from a room filled with too many celebratory candles, the emperor changed the law. And so, in absence of surviving sons, Maria Josepha and her sister were named heirs. When she was barely 5, talks began to arrange her marriage to the 7-year-old Frederick Augustus. But there was a problem. He was Lutheran. For the strictly Catholic Habsburgs, that was unacceptable. Augustus the Strong had already converted to Catholicism to secure the Polish crown. Now, he demanded the same of his son. In 1712, Frederick secretly converted, hiding it from his fiercely Protestant mother, who later tried, and failed, to kidnap him and whisk him away to Sweden. Despite the drama, the engagement was officially announced. There were other suitors. One, the Duke of Lorraine, had the favor of Maria Josepha's family and her own affections. But fate intervened. He died unexpectedly in 1711. Suddenly, Frederick Augustus was the only candidate left standing. When they met for the first time, it's hard to say what he thought of her. She wore jewels and silk, her appearance carefully styled to mask what nature had not favored. But Frederick was no Prince Charming either, tall, heavyset, and awkward. Yet he was charming, multilingual, highly educated, and cultured. He loved opera, the sciences, and philosophy. And more than anything, he was kind. Their wedding took place in 1719 in Vienna. It was one of the grandest spectacles of the Baroque era. A full month of celebrations followed in Dresden, filled with balls, performances, and fireworks. Europe watched in awe, a Habsburg princess and the heir to 2 crowns, Saxony and Poland. Still, whispers circulated. To some, Maria Josepha was charming. To others, she was, as English MP Charles Williams wrote, indescribably ugly. That label would haunt her for centuries. Did her husband share the sentiment? Some believed he strayed early in the marriage, but unlike his father, there were no scandals, no diaries, no letters, nothing to confirm it. If Maria Josepha suspected anything, she said nothing. She waited, and over time, their bond deepened into one of genuine loyalty and respect. Frederick Augustus had been raised by strong women, and he gravitated toward them. Maria Josepha became more than just a queen consort. She was his advisor, his confidant, his political partner. But life at court was cold. Her strict Catholic values were unpopular in Protestant Saxony. Her mother-in-law refused to speak to her. Even Augustus the Strong viewed her with disdain. Yet one thing redeemed her in his eyes, her fertility. She gave birth to 14 children. 14. So frequent were her pregnancies that biographers joked it was her natural state of being. Years passed, her figure changed. Her once plain appearance became more matronly, round, tired, and swollen from childbirth. But her status was unshaken. When Augustus the Strong died in 1733, Frederick Augustus claimed the Polish crown. Though the nobility favored another, Stanislaw Leszczynski, father-in-law of King Louis XV, military pressure from Russia and Prussia forced a different outcome. Frederick Augustus was declared King of Poland, and Maria Josepha became queen. She rarely visited Poland, but when she did, she wore traditional dress, posed for royal portraits, and stood beside her husband, always composed and devoted. Frederick Augustus, despite years of rule, never learned Polish. He remained detached from the politics of the realm, signing whatever his ministers placed in front of him. But in their private life, the couple remained unusually close. When one of his advisors, Count Solkowski, advised the king to take a mistress, citing political necessity, the king refused. In one infamous incident, a noble woman was sent to seduce him, dressed in a revealing gown. He simply told his servant, "Shut the door. No one is to enter." When rumors spread that Solkowski's wife had a child by the king, Maria Josepha acted swiftly. The minister was removed. She still dreamed big. She hoped to make Poland a hereditary monarchy. She wanted her husband crowned emperor. But those hopes were crushed in the wars that followed. Austria chose Maria Theresa, Prussia invaded Saxony, and the dream of empire crumbled. During the 7 Years' War, when Frederick the Great attacked, the king fled with their sons to Poland. Maria Josepha stayed behind in Dresden with her younger children. She organized aid, refused to hand over secret archives, and personally tended to the wounded. But the stress, the fear, the deprivation took their toll. She grew frail, ate little, drank only milk and water. And when Prussian soldiers beat her, trying to force her cooperation, she suffered a stroke. Maria Josepha died on November 17, 1757. She was 58. In Poland, mourning was declared. One contemporary wrote, "The most tragic part is that our queen, a saintly woman in every sense, died not from illness, but from isolation and sorrow." Frederick Augustus never recovered. In a letter to their son, he confessed, "I have lost the one person who meant more to me than anyone." He never took another woman. He rarely appeared in public. He drank, smoked, and lived in silence. In 1763, he died suddenly. His final words condemned the nobility who had crowned him. The Polish crown, he said, was a crown of thorns. He was buried beside Maria Josepha, the woman history called ugly, but who proved herself extraordinary. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next story. See you in the next chapter of history.